Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Royal Height, the music ambassador, and welcome once more to the Royal Height of Music podcast, where we are taking our music to the world. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, today we're in for a super duper treat. I have with me a gentleman. I don't know if he's native Washingtonian or not, but he's been around the DC area for a long, long time. And he is all but a icon here in the city of DC because he's been out there doing so many things. He wears many titles. He's got awards all over his walls and all kinds of trophies and accolades for all that he's done. He's renowned as a hairstylist, as an inventor, as a writer, as a public speaker, and most of all, just as a honored and just decorated senior, a man who has done so much for so many. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor, my privilege to introduce one of my friends that I've met over the years, Mr. Nate Mathis. Welcome to the Royal Height of Music podcast. Nate, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here with you, brother.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, from the big smile on your face, I'll tell you that, again, my audience is really in for a treat. What I'd like to start off with, and we get right down to it, is just going back in your personal history. Would you be kind enough just to kind of share with our audience, who is Nate Mathis? Where have you come from? What have you done? Your personal history. If you could share some of the top points on that, we'll start right there and we'll keep moving.
Well, who I am is I'm an honest, sharing, caring man. Amen. And I love to help people. And I can tell you how it all started if we have the time. And I'm going to start off like this. On Sunday morning, me and my grandmother used to listen to spirituals together. She used to love her spirituals. So I got into that same habit. And she used to ask me, say, son, what you gonna be when you grow up? I said, Grandma, I want to be famous. She said, famous? What's that mean? I didn't know what it meant, but I was saying I wanted to be famous. She said, well, if you're gonna be famous, you gotta help somebody. I never forgot that. Because, you know, when the grandparents tell you something, that's gospel. So right. What it was, that's how I got into singing, because I used to listen to the old spiritual guys. I can't remember the names of the groups, but we used to
Dixie Hummingbirds.
Yeah, those kind of people.
Okay. Pilgrim Jubilees.
Exactly.
Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers.
All of that.
All
so
right.
we used to, I said, I could do that. You know, she said, you can? So let me see you sing along with this guy. So, you know, I tried to sound like the guy, you know. She said, that's pretty good. You know, so at that time, all I knew is that's how, you know, I wanted to be somebody and I wanted to do things that I could help people. So what happened was I started cutting hair on my back porch in the summertime. And I had all the neighborhood kids coming down to get the haircut, 50 cents. You know, at that time, I think it was $1.25 to get a haircut. So if you tell the boy, I'm going to charge you 50 cents, then he got money in his pocket. So that was always my philosophy. And I remember one time we were watching a baseball game. And I said, Grandma, I believe I could tell you who's going to win this thing. And so that person, that group won, you know, like the Orioles or whatever. So I believe that I made that happen just by thinking of it. You know, she said, that was pretty good, son. And then the next time it was another game, and I got it wrong. And I said, I don't know what happened. She said, it's a certain way that you think, that you manifest things with your mind. You become what you think about most. Never forgot that. So I used to always be thinking and trying to do things and build stuff like little cars, you know, the cars we made out of wood and the string hold on to it, come down big hills and stuff like that. And I would always think that I could do this, I could make that happen. And that always stuck with me. So one day I was cutting hair on the back porch. I wasn't supposed to be out there cutting hair on the back porch, but that's what happened. And the police came. But what he said was, "Did you see somebody come through here?" And I said, "No, sir," because I was scared that they was going to lock me up for cutting hair on the back porch. But I said, "No, I didn't see anyone." But I was lying. I felt bad about it. So I was going to Spindon High School at the time. And Phelps Vocational School was, on the other side. So I said, I'm going to come out of this school because there was so many girls and they was confusing me, all the time everybody was trying to pick up girls. That was the thing back in the day. So my thing was, I got to focus. I got to get focused. I learned that word focus. And what that meant was stay focused on what you're doing. If you can keep your mind focused on what you're doing, then you can make things happen and people will believe in you. So after that particular thing happened and I got in school and the teacher realized that I could cut hair because that's what I was doing all the time. And I just thought I believed that I could do it. So as I did that, at that particular time, I was in a singing group called the Stereophonics. And we were like Manhattans, I guess the Temptations, all those kind of guys. And we, I was the spokesman of the group at the time. So by me getting in the barbering, then I started getting positive quality clients. And I guess I had to be no more than about 19, pushing 20 type thing. Okay. And I got to know a lot of different people. I met Alex Haley. But how this all happened, it was like I had something called a hair hospital. That's why they used to call me the hair doctor. So this hair hospital connected me to a lot of people. And then I had something called the executive service. The executive service meant that I would come to wherever you are and cut your hair. And that had never happened before. So I've got a lot of famous people who start to come, and every time they come to DC, they heard of Nat the hair doctor. That's before I became the bush doctor. And I started building this clientele. And then Chuck Brown was a friend of mine. I did Chuck's hair for over 45 years. And we did a show called the Carol Henson Show. I don't know if you remember Carol Henson.
Mr. C,
right. Yes. He had a radio show and he had a TV show. Mm-hmm. So when I went on his show, he opened the show by, instead of saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, the hair doctor," he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Nat the bush doctor." And it stuck. I mean, people used to come to the shop. I had my own shop then. People used to come to the shop and wait in line to get in. And by being in a group, I was the spokesman. So I used to always have to get the right guys, the guy that looked nice, the guy that could sing, and tall and slim, that kind of thing. So, after doing that, getting really into people started really recognizing me. And then after I went on the Carol Henson Show, then people in the news business like Max Robinson, you remember Max?
Yes.
Petey Green, I was on his show. Carol Randolph, so many different people. That's how I started meeting quality people. So what happened was that really started making things really happen was as I got known and people started recommending me for different things. I mean, it's a long story, but I'm shortening it up, This company called Johnson Products, Afro Sheen. You heard of them?
Yes.
I became the Afro Sheen specialist. And they sent me all over the country teaching people how to use their products. So that went on for about 6 years. And then a company called Soft Sheen Products. I don't know if you heard of Soft Sheen.
Yes.
They were really big at the time. Mm-hmm. So they took me on, and then I became a speaker, for their products because they liked how I spoke and how people related to me and stuff like that. So I got real popular in the beauty industry. So that was like another feather in the hat, And then I remember one time I got so many news stories on myself. I got so many news stories you wouldn't believe. And then I remember going to London and did this big show over there. And once your name gets out in the beauty industry, and then I made what is called a crossover from black hair to white hair, and they didn't have any black people that was doing the kind of stuff that I was doing. So, it was these guys called the Zigarelli brothers, and they were real motivational speakers and all. So they liked what I was doing, and they asked me would I join their thing, and I was the only black, so that made them, more popular. And, from that particular point on, and things just began to happen. I remember doing an interview, something like this. The guy said, how did you make all this stuff happen like that? And I started thinking what my grandmother said, you got to help somebody. You got to do this, you got to do that. So I was following her lead or telling me what to do. So the next thing I know, the guy said, you know what, you got enough information here to write a book. His name was Jim Link. Jim just died about 2 years ago. But he was one of the main guys. I think he worked for the Washington Post or something like that. And he did several stories on me back then. So that blew me up, the newspaper articles and being on different TV shows and stuff like that. People would come to the shop and, to get their hair, and they knew they would meet somebody special in there and all that. But what I'm saying is that it's people, the people you meet. It's not who you know, it's who you know and what they will do for you. So, different people, like the name of my book came from one of my clients. He said, man, I said, I'm writing this book now. So he said, I got the name for you. I said, name, what you mean? He said, the name of your book. I said, okay, what is it? And he said, Portrait of a Professional, The Life of Nathaniel Mathis, the Nat the Bush Doctor story. I was like,
wow.
Whoa.
Wow, I like that.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I admire how you do things. And that's the thing that we need is people, the type of people you are, develops into more people and how they are. And people just start believing in you and believing in the things that you can do. So after I got my book, another guy told me, he said, if you could take the information that you had and turn it into a game and show people how to play it, you'd be something else. So I started thinking about it. And what I did, I came up with this game, and it's in the museum and everything now. I haven't got to that part, but it's like all these things building up. Before you know it, I had a book. I had a game. And then what happened was I started believing that I was an inventor. You become what you think about most.
Amen. Yes, you do.
You really
yes,
do. But you got to believe how to manifest it. You just have to stay on it. Just like you're doing. I'm going to tell you something. That song you got.
Which one?
That's going to be something. But you got to get with the right folks. And
which one? Which song are you speaking of in particular?
The video. The video.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter video. That's awesome. You can turn that into something real big, but you got to think about it and you got to manifest it and you got to just make it happen. You already did it. It's already done. So now you got to promote it in such a way, not like you usually do things. You got to promote it in a different way. So people will see you a different way. People already kind of know you and know that you're a thinker. See? But you have to, I always say, if you ask yourself quality questions, you will get quality answers from yourself. And that quality answer that you get from yourself, you got to put it into play and it'll manifest whatever you're saying. And this is something that I used to say. And even when I taught my seminars, I had my clients, because they were hair people. And I said, so repeat after me. I'm going to be. They say, I'm going to be one of the greatest hairstylists. One of the greatest
hair
that ever lived.
That ever lived. Well,
you program that mind all the
great
time,
enthusiasm, man. Great.
These things start happening, and like the baseball game. That's why I told you that. I believe that stuff. You have to believe in yourself and to believe in the things that you can do. And now, when I invented my first invention, that was in 1972. Mm-hmm. And to the day, you showed it to you earlier, but this is my apron. I call it the barber's organized apron. You put your shears in there, combs, everything that you want, and you can wear it in a vest.
Almost like an overall bib, like
yeah, like we used to have those overalls. Put your stuff in it. But then I came up with something for barbers and hairstyles.
I can imagine some mechanics using that too.
Yeah, something like that. But see, the thing that made mine different. Look at where the scissors are. You see that? Mm-hmm. That made the pattern. Those two pockets and the pockets at the bottom made a pattern. And I believed, I said, this thing gonna be good. And then people always say, oh, that's nice. Next thing I know, I got a call from the Museum of American History, and they wanted my apron in the museum.
Oh, wow.
And I had already had a bunch of stuff that I had, like awards and all those kind of things. And they call them curators, the people that set your invention stuff up. Right. They make it it was deep, man. I was so excited about it in those days, and that was in 72. So I was like, man, this is something. Next thing I know, I had invented, well, this was done in 1998, I believe, my barber tool organizer, that's what I used to call it. And then, but what it is a shelf where you put your tools. And that became popular. And then they put me in the Reginald Lewis Museum over in Baltimore. So they had me in Baltimore Museum. That's the Black Museum. The Black Museum on Rhode Island Avenue. You ever been there?
Okay.
In that one. And then the Museum of American History, Smithsonian Museum.
The new one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, not the new one, the old one. See what it was.
The old Smithsonian. Okay.
The old one is American History. Mm-hmm. This one is the Black Museum, just Black Museum.
Okay. All
so
right.
American History is the big one. And they did call me about the Black Museum. They was interested in my game, but they said at this time, we wouldn't be able to do it at this time. So I don't worry about that. But the next thing I knew, I was getting a call from the Reginald Lewis Museum. So it was like, this is crazy, But then I used to think, no, it's not crazy. It's mind power. And then I said, mind power is what have you ever seen your first car, and it was red. And everywhere you saw, it was a red car around, you feel
it's whatever's on your mind, it kind of manifests itself.
Exactly. Okay. But those kind of things are real, but we just pass it by like it's nothing. But the next thing you know, if you start believing that you're an inventor, or you start believing that your song is going to become an anthem, you ask yourself, what can I do to make my anthem? And you got to start using that word, a lot about anthem. And then you got to get to the right person that's going to make that song bigger than you would ever think. I can see it. I can see I'm manifesting now, I'm telling you. And you have to stay on it because it will happen. Now, this right here, this is a patent for my shelf. And I just got that a couple years ago.
Okay, that's from the United States Patent Office. Yeah. Okay, I saw that. Okay.
You see it on there?
Yes, I saw it. Okay, with the number and everything. And
that's
all the way back March 26th, 2019. Okay. Yeah,
and the thing is too, I opened my shop on April 1st, 1969. So that was 52 years ago. And this one, I got this. This is the apron I showed you.
Okay.
That's the one that's in the Museum of American History.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
So what I'm saying to you is this, what we're talking about is real. And the thing is that you have to have a strong belief in what you're doing. And there are a lot of people, and I like that story you told me about the guy that said, you won't be nothing. You remember whatever it was, the guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you proved him wrong because your belief was stronger than he could ever believe.
Oh, yeah.
And it still is because it's carrying you. It's got you doing what you're doing right now. You know, because of your beliefs.
I have to concur with you because one of the reasons why I decided to do the Royal Height of Music podcast, which we're doing now, is because I firmly believe that I want people to see me in a different light. I want them to appreciate me as a writer, as a singer,
right,
as a speaker, but I want to do something significant to lift other people up.
Yeah.
I want to do something that I can.
Don't say gonna.
I am doing things that's going to lift people up.
There you go.
Because I know if I can help others, the Bible says you sow what you reap. And if I help, they say, there's a great motivational speaker by the name of TRHOM. That was Zig Ziglar, who used to always say, if you help enough, other people get what they want.
That's right.
You get everything that you want.
That's right.
So I believe in helping people. And like I said, I'm truly honored to have people like yourself who are highly motivated and are not just, when say, talking the talk, but have actually left indelible footprints in the sands of time, showing what you can do when you put your mind to it.
Exactly.
Now, we know you're a native Washingtonian and everything like that. Tell me a little bit more about your music career, because you've already started. You're a writer. You've done speaking. You travel. But as an entertainer, I've seen and actually been on programs with you. I remember we both appeared. I was singing with the Orioles then at the Knights of Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
11th and U. And you actually sang that night there. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your musical history, if you will.
Okay, yeah. That was, like I said, I thought that I was going to be a singer. You know, I believed that I could, be a singer. And like my group, once it broke up, then I said, well, what can I do now? I'm always asking myself, what's next? And the singing was that's something I did a while back. And I said, well, I still got that in me, So when they started putting out tracks and things like that, I started, what's that girl's name? You probably know her, probably got tracks from her.
Oh, I know. Just
Cindy,
yes, that's our girl.
Yeah, she had tracks. Captain Fly had tracks. But see, nobody knew. Well, some people knew that I was singing at the time. But then as I got older, I got away from singing. And then Captain Fly had a song called Can I? Track. And that was one of my main songs by the Manhattans. I used to sing. Can I? Kiss my pride.
I hear you still got it.
That was one of my things. When you come over, I had my room set up as a studio, and I still got a few things in there. But we're gonna hit some numbers. Bring a track or so when you come.
All right, that'll be fun. Like I said, my goal is I want to do a show with you. I want to do something that we can highlight all the great things that you're doing, and I can feature myself doing some of the music, because I truly know it's power in numbers. When you get people to work together, you can do a lot more. There's a commercial I've seen on YouTube about this powerful horse. By itself, it can pull a ton by itself. It's a special breed of horse. But if you get two of them together working together, they can pull not 14,000 pounds. Together, they can pull 15,000. And with practice together over a period of time, those same two horses can pull more than 20,000 pounds. And it's power in numbers. In the Bible, there's a scripture that says that one can chase away 1,000, but 2 can chase away 10,000.
Oh yeah.
It's an exponential thing that happens when like-minded people get together. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, getting back to you, tell us just a little bit more about your singing. I know because I've even heard some of that you put together like a compilation CD of some of the tracks that you have done. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one thing about tracks and all that stuff used to get me excited. You know how it is singing and you're getting ready to do a show and all that feeling that you have when you accomplish that and you have a complete show. You know that feeling. It's like you are on a natural high. And that's how I always learn how to make things manifest themselves. And I guess when I was singing at the time, I always dressed nice. You know, you had to look a certain way. And, you know, even when you communicate with people, it's something a little special about you because of your beliefs. And people always want to be in your presence or be around you because they knew that you had something special. And, you know, most people say practice makes perfect. That's a belief, right? But my belief is perfect practice makes perfect.
It's a difference. Because if you're practicing the wrong way, all you do is
what I'm talking about.
Become an expert at doing it the wrong way.
That's it. And to add to that, I always say, the man that knows how will always have a job. But the man that knows why will always be the boss or supervisor. So you got to have some knowledge that you have applied. And it has to be applied knowledge. You know, or you can get what is called information overload. You can have so much information that you don't know how to adjust it to make it work for you. You know, and to give you an example, since I'm showing stuff, hold on one second. Now, if you've been a hairdresser all your life, you really call an artist, right? And when you sing, you're an artist. You know, you know, it's like what we were saying about talking. Being a public speaker. If you were a singer and you know you led a song, quite a few songs, it's the same thing as speaking.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The whole idea to get your notes right, to move your moves to go with everything else. So I always believed through singing that I was an artist. And now I'm putting that belief to work. Like, I believe that I could, you know, do things.
Okay.
You know, that's some of my art. I got a lot of it, but I just grabbed a few things to let you know. That's what my new practice is all about.
Wow. I love the fact, Nat, that you have reached out and life is calling you in different directions. And you know, you hear some people talk about, well, I'm a jack of all trades and a master of nothing. But it looks like when you are anointed to do certain things, when God has given you a certain talent,
that's right.
God sometimes blesses us with more than one talent. And it's imperative that we use each one, because each one adds to us to collectively be a lot greater than one individual thing. Because there are different people and the different things that you do that you reach, because you are playing to a different audience, so to speak. People who you engage, say, speaking, they're not the same people who sat down in the stylist chair with you that you work with. They're not the same ones that looked at your inventions, but collectively, all of them together, you've reached different people.
That's it.
That's got to be exciting. That's got to be exciting.
It's very exciting. And you know what my belief was? Each one reach one, each one teach one.
All right now.
You know what I mean?
Now with that in mind, like I said, one of the things that I know, and I know you too are have a big interest in, is perpetuating what you have gained. And when I say perpetuate, that means reaching back to the kids. There are things that we do that we can become mentors to younger people. We can serve as positive examples to, say, young men who maybe are not blessed with a dad that's around, or uncles or whatever. So how do you feel, and what are some of the things that you are doing and have done as far as reaching out to kids?
Yeah, well, I had my seminar was called The Dynamics of Feeling Good About Yourself. And what it was, I was teaching, and this kind of gives you a good example of my game. And this is how I taught people to get into themselves, to know themselves. That wheel that you see is what I call the wheel of life. And if you just take one of those slices out, like mental, what are you doing on a daily basis to make your mind stronger?
Okay.
See, most people focus on negativity. And it's like, if you don't put any money in the bank, you can't get none out.
Right.
So if you want to do something mental, you got to focus on it every day. And this over here is your progress chart. You know, the things that you're going to do, if it's mental, if it's physical, you know, if it's family. All of these things are the things that make your life work. So, you know, I have all the pieces to the game right here, you know.
Wow,
it's like little pieces. You can lay this down on the table and look at it every day and know what you're supposed to be doing.
Excellent. So,
That's
now, do you do a lot of speaking engagements still? Are you still doing a lot of speaking as far as to kids or to groups and stuff like that?
Well, what happened is I did it so long, and I did it all over the world. I mean, really all over the world. I went to Paris, London, Egypt, Philippines with the company. And I was teaching people how to use their products, but they liked what I was talking about. So they wanted me to, you know, interject the things to my game and stuff like that into the audience. And, you know, we have handouts to give people. And, you know, after you do things for so long, it's like kind of tiresome. You still want to do it. So now I do it in my art.
Okay.
You know,
that's another expression of what
your feeling is still in you, so you put it in your work. You know what I mean? So I'm learning how all the things that I've done and taught people to do, and it's still like work, but it's like now it's more fine-tuned because I guess I'm older. I'm 75 now. So, you know, I just stay focused on what I'm doing in my art. And that, I even recently, like I said, when I got into the Reginald Lewis Museum, I had just did a painting of Chuck Brown.
Okay.
With his guitar and everything, and they wanted that. So that was amazing to me. And I've been doing all these things, and now here I am, you know, 70-some years old, and they still calling me and different things like that. Before the pandemic, they had started calling me at libraries. And I was going around to the libraries talking about my game and stuff like that.
Wow.
So, you know, I mean, I had done it all, kind of speak, you know, and been places that it was so amazing. I couldn't even believe it myself when I came home. We won a competition in Egypt. We won a competition in London. You know, that kind of thing. I was with, you know, the company. So they would, and the thing about it that made it so amazing, I didn't pay a dime to travel all over the world. Not a dime. You know what I mean?
Well, look, you have an amazing story. You got an amazing history. And that only adds to the fact that you're really an amazing person. I mean,
thank you.
Unfortunately, like I said, we don't have enough time to go through everything, but I'll put it out before you right now. Yeah. I want to invite you back again sometimes in the near future, possibly to be on panels, because we're doing some other things along with the Royal Height of Music podcast. As you know, we have just launched our radio station, Venro Radio. We have Venro TV that's being put together right now, and we're doing a lot of things. And I see you being a part of it. Now, you already know that I have you listed as one of our advisors on the Black Music Awareness Foundation, which was established a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, when we got ready to launch all of that, that's when the COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we haven't done all that we want to do, But we had kind of handpicked certain people, you being one of them, because of not only your influence and expertise, but we felt that you had a lot to offer in terms of input on how we can take music to capture the legacies of a lot of artists, as well as teaching young people about their Black music history, and encouraging them to hone their craft through maybe mentoring programs with great people, singers and instrument players, and also learn about the business of music. Because, in business, one of the elements that a lot of Blacks have missed out over the years is actually learning the business of music. So, with that in mind, like I said, I hate that we have to kind of draw it to a close right now. However, I do want to remind the audience that we are doing great things, and like I said, honored to have great people on. Would you be kind enough to share with our audience, because there are going to be a lot of people who want to support and appreciate all that you do, your contact information? How, if somebody wanted to get in touch to support you by getting a copy of your book or your music or your artwork, or maybe just to talk to you, they might want to call you out to speak at their church or at an event or whatever. How can we get in touch with
But just give them my email.
Okay, and that is, give it to us.
Bush Doctor 5904 at Verizon.net.
Okay, now because it's an advertising, I got to get you to do it at least 3 times. Take your time and do it 2 more times for me.
Bush Doctor, small letters, 5904 at Verizon.net. I have a few books left. Most of them went to the libraries and different things like that. But I do have a few that I got your autograph book that I got for you. And it's one thing that I want to say. And as long as I've been in business and all, people say things like, man, I remember you said so-and-so long time ago, and I never forgot it, So that made me think of you. It's like, I'm going to tell you something, and it's going to happen. It's about that video that you got out there now.
Okay.
That thing is going to blow up. You feel me?
All right.
But you got to get it in the right hands, and you don't even know who the right hands are. But you got to believe that person is going to come up to you one day. But you got to I know you stay on top of what you're doing. You just have to stay on top of that, and you're going to tell me one day, boy, it came true.
It happened. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. As you know, like I said, right here at the Royal Height of Music podcast, like I said, our interest is in showcasing people like yourself, so we can let people know what other people are doing.
Oh yeah.
But our aim is always pushing the music aspect of it. Like I said, taking our music to the world. That's our motto, because we feel like the music of life is not just always music that you listen to.
Right.
Things that we look. Art is music in an art form.
That's it.
Speaking is music, but we just are talking as opposed to singing.
That's it.
Dance is another form of music, but we express the music with our body.
Exactly.
Our body. And this is what we're doing. And like I said, we're excited about it. And again, we remind our public before we close that if anybody out there listening to this podcast, if you're interested in joining with us as a sponsor, we welcome you. If you're interested in finding out about becoming an affiliate, we can work with you to promote some of the things that you're doing as you're helping us. And even as an advertiser, maybe you have a product line, maybe you have a business or church or organization that you would like to promote. Contact us. You can go to our website. That's Venro Records at venrorecords.com. Again, that's VENRO Records with an S, RECORDS.com. Or you can, if you have to email us, that's venrorecords@gmail.com. You can send information, and again, we can always use your support. If you'd like to make a cash donation to us, you can use your Cash App or contact us. Our phone number is area code 240-606-9742. Or if you want to Cash App us, you can Cash App us any donation to help us along with these podcasts and all the stuff we're doing at Royal Height TMA. Royal Height TMA, the music ambassador. And again, Nate, before we close, what words of encouragement would you offer to the people out there who have had a chance to listen to a little bit of your story? Before we close, what would be your final words of offering to us?
Well, the key thing is manifesting and believing in yourself, believing that you can make things happen. It's not coincidence when certain things happen. It's mind power. So what you have to do is tap into your mind. And the key thing that I want you to remember to think about, what do you want? And you can't answer that real quick. What do you want? That'll take you wherever you want to go. And then you say, why do I want it? And once you can figure that out, then it starts manifesting itself. And I'll give you an example. I always wanted a CD, or what we used to call them a long time ago, an album or whatever.
Album, huh?
Yeah, I always wanted that. But now, after 50-some years, that's a CD, and that's talking about my life, how I did what I did. This is me singing, so it's about 17 songs on that.
Okay.
This is my motivational workshop.
Okay.
It tells you, how to get your thing together, wheel of life kind of thing. And then this one is called From Hair to the Throne. And hair to the throne means, you started doing hair, but now you're in the museum. Or now you're in the Library of Congress, Martin Luther King Library, all of those places. I'm in there. So, and I'm not just saying this to brag. I'm just saying it to another entrepreneur that's really doing things. And I want to see that CD go far in a short period of time, because your beliefs, after we talk, your beliefs going to start kicking in. You say, and then when you get that little feeling and you're happy in your chest, that's when you know you're on to something.
On the way.
So remember that, and remember this conversation. And that day that it hit, you say, that boy, son.
Well, look, Nat the Bush Doctor, world famous author, writer, inventor, speaker, and person. More than importantly, person. I've had the privilege of meeting you and your wife, and I'm just thoroughly impressed by your zest for life. And you are an encourager. You set an example for all of us, not just Blacks, but anybody that's interested in believing in themselves and doing more. You are a great example. So again, from the heart of Venro Records and the Royal Height of Music podcast, I offer my thanks to you for taking out your time and being with me today. And if there's any last thing you'd like to say before we close out, go ahead.
And I always close like this. You're so kind and considerate. Your generosity is simply overwhelming. It's only exceeded by your good looks and such pleasing personality. My man, go for it.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, this is Royal Height, the Royal Height of Music podcast. And as we sign out today, as we always do, we want to know and tell everybody we're taking our music to the world. Join you every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on our regularly scheduled podcast. And pay attention, because we are doing some live things right now on our podcast as we promote Venro Radio and all the other things that we're involved in. And again, to our special guest, Mr. Nat the Bush Doctor, we thank you so much. God bless you, brother.
Thank you so much. Gone.